Hello, people. Can you hear and see me okay? Is my sound okay? Well, first of all, that light is bothering me there. That's a little better. Actually, no, that's somehow worse, but we're going to go with it. Long story, folks. For some reason, Microsoft, it's probably going to do it again, by the way, so bear with me. Microsoft kept kicking in saying, I need to know that you're you. Please send us this code that we send to your email address to let us know that you received it and that you are, in fact, you. And anyway, I kept checking my email and I wasn't getting this code. So Microsoft kept thinking that I wasn't me. Isn't technology wonderful? Oh, look, John Hepfer is here. Says, what's up, everybody? Welcome. I am Jordan Pahar. Jordan Pahar. Hello, Jordan Pahar. Nice to see you. Uh, and to John Hepfer as well. I got a message from Lance Chaffin. He's probably gonna kick in any second. He's probably wondering where I am. So, Wajamin is here. Says hello, everyone. I'm making dinner, so I will be back and forth. And Lou says, "Hey, I am early." Actually, no, I am late. You missed my explanation earlier, but yeah, there was some Michigots. Keithy says hello. I stand corrected. Geraldo Rivera wasn't ever Jerry Rivers. Quite all right, quite all right. We all make little mistakes. God knows I do enough. Lance Javen says, Hiya, Thrash. Yeah, I got here eventually. I know everybody's having fellowship. Gary Carpenter says, I know you're late. Yes, I am late. And more about that in a little bit. And Gary Carpenter goes on to say, Greetings, everyone. What do you got, about 6 people? And, well, it's going to be tricky because I've got the camera here and the comments there. So if you see me dipping back and forth, let me know though how the sound and picture quality is. That's my biggest concern at this point. Danny's here and says smiley emoji. Goes on to say greetings from South Carolina. Life and Sad Ending is here, says Nanu Nanu. Life and Sad Ending, I love your most recent memorial post, by the way. If you guys haven't checked it out, please do. Dan, do the honors of sending a link to the Life and Sad Ending, and of course to your stuff as well. And John says, Happy Juneteenth, everyone. R.I.P. Otto Warmbier. Yes, R.I.P. Otto Warmbier. Pierre. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, John. And let's see what else. It sounds perfect. Ooh, and coming from you, Keith, that is optimum because you are, of course, an expert on audio. Tracy from Tracy's Fractured History and More is here. Says, hey, all. A lot of people saying hi to her. Darrell Johnson is here. He says, Bob, Darrell, my other brother, so good to see you. Danny's dropping links. Amazing. Excellent. Everyone's having fellowship. And so again, I will give an explanation while I have a moment. For some reason, I'm on my laptop and I'm in the bridge, the bunker, right? And was preparing for an excellent show. And for some reason, my laptop, and it's still doing it. I don't know what the problem is. For some reason, Microsoft wants me to prove that I'm me, and I haven't stolen my own laptop, even though I haven't reported it stolen, right? And it keeps saying we sent a code to your email, and it gives me my email address, and it says give us the security code so we can continue. And I keep checking my email address and there's no code. I'm starting to think that maybe it's not an actual Microsoft thing. I'm starting to think it's like some trap, like it's some like offshore Nigerian bank that's going to somehow get my personal information if I don't cater to them. But anyway, at the moment we're doing okay. Had the same problem. Remember earlier, about a week or so ago, when Ian and I did our last live chat, I would blink out and I would come back and my sound would be terrible. Every time Microsoft gave me that message, my sound would get really bad. So I'm wondering if somehow there's like some problem with. I don't know. I don't know. That's all, folks. Lance Javen says, "Where is retro cereal?" I think you cut out a little early last night. I think he actually showed up and was chatting with us and said because of various post-nuptial responsibilities, he's not going to be able to do a show this week, possibly next week. So I said I would keep the home fires burning, and that's why I am here tonight. Tracy said she's doing better. I'm so glad you're feeling better, Tracy. Um, oh, the House of Alex is here, by the way. How you doing, House of Alex? Love your most recent mirror drama. And as soon as I catch up, I have a little story for you. What mean says, did you check your spam? Ooh. Well, I did for the Yahoo account, but I think it's the different account. You might be onto something there. You might be onto something there. But either way, I'm me, and I didn't report my laptop stolen. Leave me alone. Emily says fishing sounds like fishing sounds like. What does fishing sound like? John says forgot to give an RIP to Anton Yelchin and James Gandolfini. Yes, RIP to both of those peoples. Oh, and Lance is right. Hit the like button. Oh, Gary asked, how's the patient doing? And Tracy says, I'm feeling better. Keithy says, it's that retro Nigerian guy again trying to hack your system to get all of your subscribers. I would never part with you folks. You all know. Steve says, hey, y'all. House of Alex says, hope you guys are all good. We certainly are. I'm so glad you could hear. Oh, and by the way, that Blackadder joke, House of Alex did a whole bit on Wellington boots, which are a very popular boot in the UK. There's a joke on Blackadder once. It's the one that takes place during the Georgian years. And what happens is Prince George inadvertently insults the Duke of Wellington by having an illicit affair with two of his nieces. And demanding satisfaction, the Duke of Wellington sends a letter as challenging the prince to a duel, and he says, when a man soils a Wellington, he puts his foot into it. And my old roommate had to explain it to me. But anyway, that's that joke that I said I would explain to you, Mr. Alex. And Daryl says, yeah, what Len said, hit that like button. Len says, hiya, Steve, just watched your Inendium. Watch, I mean, says, be right back, working on dinner. And then says, fishing is offline, scamming. Oh, I see. I thought you said, like, my sound sounds like I'm fishing. Like it's going, I am a fisher of men, after all. Oh, Daryl Dunn says, what's for dinner, Waj? I had burgers and potato salad. Gary Carpenter says, it was raining here like mad. It's probably do it again. It will probably do it again. Well, good luck. And let's see what else we got. Oh, Georgia Ayers is here. Says hi, Bob. Georgia Ayers, I'm so glad I got your message. By the way, are you doing okay? It sounded like you weren't doing well. But anyway, I'm so glad you're here with us tonight. Lynn Chavin had a manwich and mac and cheese. Ooh, that sounds fantastic. Gary said, I just had pasta and hot dogs. You can't go wrong there. Ken Wilkinson says, good evening, Bob. Ken, good evening to you. Derek Carpenter says, sounds yummy to LC, and I'm sure others as well. House of Alex says, thanks for the explanation, Thrash. Yes, and I'm sure you got the joke, by the way. It's a cultural thing. Denny Staten's giving us a link. Thank you. Oh, Tracy says, I made lemon pepper cod. How do you get fresh cod in Chicago? I can barely get fresh cod on Cape Cod. And, let's just see here. Alex had paprika chicken, rice, and veg. Ooh, sounds yum yum. Steve had burgers and potato salad too. Oh, yes, that is synchronistic, if not weird. Yes. Jenny says the storms here are awful. And let's see, George is saying yes. I'm not sure if she's saying yes to what, but it is glad to have you with us tonight, Georgia. Thank you for joining us. And Gary Carpenter says, cod, yuck, Tracy. I'm not a fish eater, and I'm a Pisces. I see why. Emily Miller says, they're calling for rain all week. It's funny because we're going to have clear skies and sun all week. I'd almost rather Trake is going to get hot by the end of the week. Daryl John says, well, in my neck of the woods anyway. I'm guessing he means rain. Gonna skip through some of the fellowship. I don't want to get behind like I did last night. 1,200 comments you guys gave me. 1,200. And there was only 23 of you at peak. So you guys were very busy with the interaction last night. Denny says, here to Emily, 5 straight days of storms. Lynn says, Emily, it will be sunny all week here in Kokomo. I'm sorry, Kansas City, Missouri. It just at a glance, it looked like Kokomo, and I like saying Kokomo. Kokomo, Kokomo. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Terrell Eugene Bellinger says, Happy Juneteenth, Thrash. Yes, Tab, happy Juneteenth to you as well. They had a very large celebration here in Boston, by the way. It was very nice. And again, happy Juneteenth to you, and happy Juneteenth to all of you, by the way. Happy Juneteenth and many more. And Ted, welcome to the party. Tracy says, I live in Florida and I picked up some frozen cod from Publix. Why do I keep thinking you're still in Chicago? You've told me you live in Florida on several occasions, and because you grew up in Chicago, I keep thinking you're still in Chicago. Someday I'll get I'll get it. Oh, let's see. Ken Wilkinson just said hi to George as well. Emily Miller says, Danny, we're not that far from each other. I think Gary is close too. I believe he is as well. Alex says, that's one busy chat. Maybe we can beat that tonight. Let's try, guys. Let's try. That's only about 60 comments per person. The Nostalgic Pod Blast is here. He says, hey, everybody. Your post on Judy or June Harding. It begins with a J. Miss Harding was absolutely Harding warming, I would say, by the way. Little pun there. And you so do your homework. I mean, this very nice post about this poor actress who passed on, which was very heartfelt, also was like a lesson in post-contemporary television American pop culture. I love the stuff you're putting up, Pod Blast. Please continue. Keith E says, and for those who missed it, Emily had 10 for 10 last night. She sure did, and I'm very proud of you. Oh, and by the way, I do have another trivia game because the tacit topic tonight is going to be first jobs, worst jobs. Everybody tell me what your first job was, and everyone tell me which job you hated the most was. I have mine picked. But tonight's trivia game is going to be on celebrity positions they had before they became celebrities. And Tracy does say yes, but Chicago's my hometown. A lot of people saying hi to Pod Blast, and rightly so. Oh, and Pod Blast says thanks to me. You're so welcome. Alex says, is there a theme for tonight's chat, or does anything go? Anything always goes. Anything goes. Anything goes in. Anything goes out. Fish, bananas, old pajamas, mutton, beef, and trout. Only true Monty Python fans will get that. But yes, as I said, first jobs, worst jobs will be the theme for this eve. Gary Gumber says, Sir Lancelot. And Zubelik says, lousy first jobs to House of Alex. Oh, yeah, Tree says, Emily, you were a rock star last night. She's always our rock star. Pod Bless said, music replacement in classic TV shows bothers me greatly. Oh, I know. Didn't something like that happen to the Monkees once? Wasn't there one or two songs for whatever reason they didn't actually own the rights to? So years later, when they re-released them to syndication, they had to change some of the music. There's a bell ringing in my head about a situation like that. So, but I figured Pod Blast you would know. But yeah, I was thinking about that today, and I'm trying to remember what the specific song was. One of the specific songs was in question, but keep me posted if you know. And Pablo goes on to say, thanks for the nice words, Pawns, and for checking it out. Yes, and again, if you haven't subscribed to Pod Blast, please do. I'm sure Danny will put in a link without even being asked. Emily says, Tracy, I get a good one once in a while. Tug is here. He says, good evening, folks. Tug, a good evening to you. Let's see what else we got going on here. A lot of people saying hi to Tug as always. Let's says, Thrash, thank you for the package. You got it today? I didn't even know mail was being delivered today. It's Juneteenth. I was expecting you not to get it until tomorrow. But enjoy your films. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's just a lot of people having fellowships. I'm going to skip down to Emily, who says, the first real job was just before I was 15. Small chicken diner. First time buying my own clothes. I was excited. What were your position? Waitress? Or cook? I'm guessing waitress. I don't think they'd let a 15-year-old kid in the kitchen. Too many liabilities there. Gary says, my first job was at Winn-Dixie. Remember Winn-Dixie? Stalking at night. Tracy Rothmeyer says the WKRP in Cincinnati CDs, no DVDs. Instead of using the music that was on the original show, they have that Muzak instead, which is like they replaced all the real songs with all these made-for-TV songs. Ugh. Oh, yeah, and Lance says it is coming tomorrow. Good, good, good. Tug says my first job was at Subway, although I'd done a bunch of filling in at my dad's law office for years before that. Oh yeah, I mean things like we all had things like paper routes, mowing the neighbor's lawn. I worked for a few weeks on the Colonel's potato chip truck, and he would give you like $10 a day. No, I'm talking like first real. We actually had to file paperwork and that type of thing. First job. So yeah, I will count that as your first job at a Subway. Teb says, when I was in high school, I participated in a job program in which I cleaned and wiped equipment at a gym in an upscale building in Center City. Oh, that sounds ew. I mean, upscale gym is nice, but having to wipe out equipment, ew. Oh, and Lynn says paper was my first job. Steve says I worked at and then trailed off. Mrs. ENC is here. Can I call you Mrs. ENC? Until you say yes, I'm going to call you Amanda. Amanda Carlin is here. I bet you love hearing that last name. And says, hey, Thrash. Mrs. Carlin, Amanda, welcome to my humble channel. I'm going to try to keep the home fires burning for your husband. He's busy tonight, couldn't do it, so I will do a solo show in his honor. Emily Miller says, owner was a friend, so I did it all. I was to tell anyone who came in I was related to the owner so he wouldn't get in trouble. Oh, a little hush hush under the table, huh? Tracy says my first job was babysitting. Oh, interested in babysitting. Oh, a lot of people having love for Amanda, as do we all. Excellent. Pod Bless says first job working at a comic book shop when I was 16, then a stock boy at Super X drugstore. I always wanted to work in a comic book shop. I always, there was this great comic book shop in Hyannis. I loved it there. I spent more money than I earned at my real job there. Wanted to work there. The guy was an absolute schmendrick. He was such a jerk. I still bump into him from time to time. Although it's been years, and that's fine with me. He's one of those clowns on Cape Cod who just keeps popping up. Those of you who've been to live on Cape Cod know what I mean. The real jerks you never seem to get rid of. First they work here, then they work there, and then you see them here, and then you see them there. But anyway, it was a great shop. Steve says Burger Chef in 1972, one shift, and I quit. There's that work ethic you Burmers have. I'm sorry, I was teasing. Um. Oh, I jumped again. Oh, here he is. Love for Amanda, and Tug says Ford service is no joke. That's hard work. Oh, food service. I thought Ford service at a Ford dealership. No, I did food service. Well, I'm still in hospitality now, but I've actually been a line cook, and that is a very tough job. Danny says my first job was working for Jim Crockett Promotions, selling pictures and posters of wrestlers and wrestling matches. NWA started in 1978. I was 13. Yeah, you mentioned that. That sounds like a really fun job. And you made some great contacts in that too, if I remember. Keith says at 11, I was working for my brother renting umbrellas and search math on a beach in Ocean City, Maryland. It was the best job I ever had. That does sound fun. That does sound like a fun job, working at the beach. Although I live in Cape Cod, and I've never worked at the beach. House of Alex says, "I actually think the job I just liked the most was also my first job." That's convenient. Supermarket, but I think that was more of being a lazy teen than the actual job. That's very sporting of you. Tug says, "I respect all burger flippers." Tug says, I'm sorry, Podblast says, "First real job, Crystal Springs bottled water company in outside sales, selling water and coffee service to businesses and homes." That sounds like an impressive first job. Emily says, "First time earning money for anything, I would carry drinks, even alcohol, and light candles in a small bar. Customers would tip me nickels or quarters. I was 9. Should you have even been in a bar when you were 9? Must be a Southern thing. Ooh, no, Emily, you know I'm teasing. You know I'm teasing. Uh, oh, I jumped again. It shows how interactive you guys are. Alex says, "My former job in airport security was pretty bad towards the end. Now I think about it. Just thankless tasks of full of anxiety and angry staff members. I can't imagine what working in an airport was like. Going to airports gives me anxiety because I can't imagine what those like, commiserations led." Tug says, "I worked at the comic shop in Universal Studios. Ooh, you son of a. It was exclusively Marvel in the wild, wild 90s. You lucky so and so." Sean Innes is here. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Sean Innes is here. It says, "Is this still going? I have technical difficulties." Grr. You and me both, lad. Yeah, I was a little bit late. I wasn't able to start until about, yeah, 35, but we are going. And Sean, stay as long as you can. Podblast says, "My aunt, more mom's sister, and uncle live in Boston. Been there many times over the years. Fenway, etc., etc." Yes, I don't get to Boston much. I live down here on Cape Cod, but I have an aunt and uncle who live just outside of the city, and it is a great city. I get there whenever I can. Emily Miller says, "Lance, it was the 70s and nobody really cared." Yeah, I know. My parents and my grandparents worked there, so I was completely safe. Hey, it was cheaper than a babysitter, and you got some walking around money. No, I understand. There was a lot of that sort of under the table stuff going on when I was a kid too. Like I say, I worked on the Colonel's potato chip truck. Gary Carter says, "That's what I'd love to do is work at a comic book shop." I know, right? Uh, Oh, and Jenny's giving us a link. Thank you. I'm gonna skip through a lot of the people having felt. Everyone's saying hi to Sean, and rightly so. Podbless says it was fun. Gary Carpenter working in a comic book shop near the Big Chicken KFC in Marietta, Georgia. A little part of Georgia I've been to is Atlanta. Lynn says, "Okay, Emily, did you save it or spend it?" Oh, I'm sure she spent it. And Alex says, "People have had much more fun jobs than me. I'm jealous." My most fun job, if you want to talk fun jobs, was when I worked at the video store. It was a Suncoast. And if you those of you remember Suncoast Video, it was like Sam Goody or FYE. Rather than selling music, we sold movies, and that was the most fun job I ever had. Even though I was the manager, and it's never fun being the manager, but I made a lot of money. It was a very well paying job. And I jumped again, so I'm going to. Holy Freehold, you guys are really interactive today. Oh, I think I left off here. Oh, yeah, here at Marietta, Georgia. Daryl Johnson says, "While in the Army, I got to dig a foxhole for my sergeant who was 6'2". Wow. I have to say it was a nice hole, even had a little place to build a fire and a seat. I did it with those crappy trenching tools. Oh, I know those. Gary Gabriel says, I need to do something. I'm bored. I'm sorry you're bored. I'll try to be more entertaining. Oh, does anyone have buffering or is it just me? Tug asks. Yes, let me know if I'm buffering. Let me know. By the way, yeah, I'm recording from the bridge, and that sometimes has problems. Mystery Men and Monsters is here. Oh my God, Mystery Men and Monsters, so great to see you. I'm glad you like my recommendations, Brian Aldous. He says message retracted. Message retracted to you, but I'm so glad you could make it. Alex says, "What does everyone here do for work now?" I work in a restaurant. I'm a bartender slash server, depending what they need of me, an Italian restaurant. Tracy says, "My worst job was when I worked for Burger King. I quit after 1 day. Wow, wow." Daryl says, "No, none for the buffering. That's excellent." Pablo says your audio is breaking up a bit sporadically. I'm very. Is anyone else noticing that? By the way, let me know if anyone else is noticing in and out uh, volume or audio. Because again, that's what I was having trouble with the whole Microsoft thing. It was whenever I'd go back into ENC's chat, the audio was poor. Steve says, "Lazy boomer, huh?" Turned out staying at home and watching a black and white television eventually paid off in my old boomer life anyway. Um, touche. And no, you are many things, but you are not lazy. I was teasing. I was teasing. And Podblast shouts out to Tracy's Fractured History and more. Wajibin says, "Back for now. Stay as long as you can, lad." Pablo says you told them to flip off at Burger King, Tracy. And Tug says, "My current jobs are stay at home dad, writer, and YouTuber. None of them pay well, but I wouldn't want to be doing anything else." That's awesome. It's nice to know you're doing what you want. Liz Chapin says, "I worked at a Hardee's when they had fried chicken. Weird City is here." It says, "Oh, hi, Thrash and all. Weird City, welcome to the party." Emily Miller said, "LOL. Loved. I've worked textiles, furniture, restaurants, utilities as a carny medical delivery. Obviously, I can't keep a job." And I'm sure they're all very, very sorry to lose you because you are amazing. Alex says, fair play to Superplex. A lot of people saying hello to Weird City and welcoming back Wajameen. Danny Staten says, "Worst, my worst job ever. My brother got me a summer job cooking on a Exxon Mobil surveying vessel." Oh dear, it already sounds horrible. I thought it was going to be fun till I realized we were on a ship at sea for 3 months with no girls. Ugh, ugh. And as a teenager, that would have been dreadful. Teb says, "Thresh, do you remember when Roseanne Barr sang a terrible rendition of the national anthem at a baseball game in 1990 for a few months before Whitney Houston sang it beautifully at the Super Bowl?" I recall that vividly. I do. I remember when that happened. Emily Miller says, "Maybe I should add it was a small bar attached to a family restaurant." It's all good, Emily. I'm sure there was nothing like um, torrid going on. Um, Pablo says Cape Cod is nice. Um, Parts of it are, yes. Parts of it are very, very nice. Shannon says, "Okay, Paperboy doesn't count. I had to file papers for it though as a kid in New York. I was way out in the sticks of Connecticut in high school without a car. So next job I had, summer of '84, working in corporate media." Ooh, that sounds fun. And let's just see. I jumped a little, so I think I'm almost caught up. Only 257 is here. Hey, 257, how you doing? And no, I'm not almost caught up. Wow. But I am gonna do when I finally find the message that I stopped at. I'm going to. Here we are. I'm gonna skip through some of these. Oh, Emily says, "Oh yeah, I worked for 2010 census, both in the field and for payroll." Daryl Johnson says, "I was put on guard duty because of Jane Fonda. I had to walk around the temporary duty house area from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Blah. Texas, my worst job was as an editor at a law book publishing company. It was a soul crushing crucible farm. Wow, sounds ouch. Nostalgic Podbless says, did you crack the whip at the video store manager? Only on a couple of occasions, and it was usually when it was somebody I wanted to get rid of anyway. It works. Emily says, Daryl, 2 to 4 a.m. She would have had to guard herself during hours. Sean says, "Hey Tug." Oh, he's saying hello, everybody. Alex says, "A little buffering my end too." It seems to be sporadic though. Zublik says, "I don't think T-Pons was the manager." Nostalgic. No, I was. I worked my way up. I worked there for about a year, and then became the manager for 6 years, and then the company went out of business. Totally unrelated. Let's just see. Skipping down. Oh, again, 257 says, "Hi, I'm late. Do not worry about it. He's having a lot of fellowship, a lot of people welcoming him here." Wajimine says, "I think worst job was delivering phone books." Ooh, that must have been heavy. Tracy says, "I work for the state. Don't shoot me." Doug says, "Audio buffering is minor and sporadic, nothing bad enough to justify moving from the bridge." Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It might be I think there's some bad weather moving through. That might have something to do with it. Lance says, "Emily, are you on your own?" Emily, you are your own boss. That's great. Alex says, "I work as a first aider at an airport. We are called to various incidents from small cuts to suicides." Ooh. Not that I have dealt with those at this stage. 25 says, "I'm watching the awful Yesterday Machine movie." Oh, Gary Carpenter says, "My most fun job I had was a usher at a Charlotte Coliseum, seeing the concerts and the circus and basketball shows." Oh, that sounds like fun. Shannon says, "Oh, he's having a the corporate media job was actually fun and well paying at the same time. Next crappy job. Worst jobs were really in the last 10 years. I know jobs have really gotten unfun, haven't they?" Keithy says, "I am currently retired, but wait for Steve and Sad Ending to want me to call him on YouTube." I think I'm almost caught up now. Tracy says, Emily says, "Tracy, they don't hate them as much as power companies. I had a gun pulled on my pregnant coworker and was almost attacked by dogs." Wow, that's crazy. 257 says, "Did you guys hear about that submarine accident in Massachusetts?" Yeah, that was big, big, big news here. There's 5 people at the bottom of the ocean, and they're looking for them. They say they might survive as much as 4 days, but that was yesterday. So yeah, we're kind of like biting our nails on that one. That's a bad job, apparently. Taking a submarine tour to the Titanic. It- That's asking for trouble. I'm sorry. Tug says, "My wife used to work for the feds. She's in the private sector now. Thank goodness." Yes, thank goodness. And oh, I think I'm caught up. Uh, the weather might be the cause of the buffering. Thank you. If I missed anybody's comments, though, please bear with me. Zublik says, "Emily, since you are a cat person, are you enjoying three southern cats and Mama?" Pablo Emily says, "Pablo, I've owned 2 businesses. I've had outside dogs, but I didn't get them." Denny says, "I had a couple of bad strokes in 2011. Been on disability ever since, so that means I can do anything I want, whenever I want, and still get a check." I can't say I'm jealous, but it sounds like a nice trade off. Tug says, "I am a cat person, but my son's allergies have kept us from having one." Oh, that's very sorry. I'm very sad. I'm very sorry. Pablo says, "Wealthy victims at that. Have you heard how much it costs to take the Titanic tour? $250,000 plus the money that you have to pay for the training. It is a very, very expensive hobby." Kevin Scott 76 is here. Says, hey Thrash, survived 4 performances of Tales of Hoffman this weekend. So glad to have you with us, Kevin. Danny, please drop us a link. And Kevin, I'm glad you survived your performance schedule. Uh, uh 2007 says, my God, Pawns, it's like if people went to the theater to watch Manos Hands of Fate. I think it's a little worse than that, but Daryl Jones says, I had to guard a guy in jail accused of murder. I was to protect him from the police who were not happy with him being there. Wow, that's very sad. Oh, Dominic D is here. I have a dog, had some cats when I was a kid, though. Oh, well, anyway, Dominic D, welcome to the party. Emily Lewis says, Tug, I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to cats, but I won't live without them. Gary Carter says, I'm a cat person and I take care of strays. Oh, that's good. Levin Heading says, weird city, thanks. Has anyone seen Georgia Ayres yet? Again, by the way, she was here for a little while ago. Georgia, if you dropped out, please let us know if you're still with us, by the way. Because again, I'd like to know how you were doing. Shannon says, Daryl, that has to be one hell of a story there. Yeah, I was going to say that actually would make a great story. Guarding a murder suspect and having to guard them from the police. And Tracy says, is Michael Scott said, oh, as Michael Scott said in The Office about like going into a certain place like the Titanic. For one, I am just a little superstitious. Um, and let's just see. Oh, Lynn says hi to Georgia, but again, I'm not sure she's still with us. Oh, and Emily says, I've always wanted to talk to serial killers in prison. I would be taking notes, of course. Oh, and by the way, yes, sometimes when there's a misprint or a typo in a person's comment, Dave always laughs at me because sometimes I read them as is. Sometimes I do try to correct them, but for some reason, when I try to correct the typo, oftentimes I misinterpret. So sometimes it's better if I just read them as is. But if it seems incoherent, bear with me. I'm just trying to read what is put down. Anyway, it's 8:12, guys. It's 8:12, which means we are 11 minutes late from the trivia game. So how about you guys can keep coming if you want. I might miss a few because I'm going to start with the trivia game, and as always, start in no particular order. And remember, tonight's trivia game is going to be celebrity jobs before they were famous. And I'm going to start, as always, in no particular order with number 10. What long-term actor started out as a hairdresser? Was it A, Ted Danson, B, Mel Gibson, C, Danny DeVito, or D, Patrick Stewart? Good night and good luck. Are you leaving us? You're not joining us for the trivia game? Or you've had an Edward R. Murrow moment? I shall repeat. What long-term actor started out as a hairdresser? A, Ted Danson, B, Mel Gibson, C, Danny DeVito, or D, Patrick Stewart? And House of Alex, good guess. He played one in Taxi, which is why I threw him in there. But no, it seems most people. Oh, Tug says I have no idea. Ooh, but Emily guessed it correct. Yes, it's actually Danny DeVito. Apparently, when he was a teenager, he started cutting hair at his sister's or his aunt's, a female family member's shop. And the story goes, supposedly he actually did a little hairdressing in a mortuary. I don't know if that's true or just an anecdotal story that's attributed to him. But yes, his first paying job was as a hairdresser. And now, number 9. What was Oh, Alex is 0 out of 10. It's early days yet. Uh Osabluk says, how did he reach the stood on a milk crate, I guess. Number 9. What was Christopher Walken's job involving lions? Was he a tamer, B, feeder, C, groomer, or D, cage cleaner? Tug says, I would love to have Patrick Stewart being a hairdresser. I'm trying to get his hair cut. Oh, Zuplex says, oh, Emily says to Zuplex, step ladder. Oh, and anyway, I shall repeat. What was Christopher Walken's job involving lions? Was it A, a tamer, B, a feeder, C, a groomer, or D, cage cleaner? And the responses are all over the place on that one, and they're all great guesses, but Shorin Bigora, he was a lion tamer. When he was 16 years old, he was working for the circus and did a clown act and some other things as well. But apparently, there was this she lion who loved him, and he would actually go to the cage and do a lion taming act with this lion as a teenager. I'm like, that is so hardcore. If you didn't think Christopher Walken wasn't cool enough, I'm like, that's crazy. Moving on to number 8. Jason Lee was once a professional what? A, snowboarder, B, skateboarder, C, surfer, or D, stunt driver? I shall repeat. Jason Lee was once a professional what? A, snowboarder, B, skateboarder, C, surfer, or D, stunt driver? And oh, Form is Content is here and has the right answer. Form is Content. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the party, and glad you are taking part in our game. Oh, Georgia, there you are. So glad you're here. By the way, I'm going to assume, unless you hear otherwise, that you're doing well or better. Anyway, moving forward. Sean says Jason Lee from Mallrats. Maybe. He did all the Kevin Smith films. He was in My Name Is Earl. He plays the demon in Dogma. So yeah, I think he was in Mallrats, but I haven't seen Mallrats since I worked at the video store. So again, my memory is a little fuzz. Oh, Tug does confirm that yes, he was in Mallrats. Yay. Oh, Denny's getting like trivia. Ooh my. Number 7. Harrison Ford was a craftsperson in what trade? A, painter, B, plumber, C, landscaper, D, carpenter. I shall repeat. Harrison Ford was once a craftsperson in what trade? A, painter, B, plumber, C, landscaper, or D, carpenter. And that's the woodworking kind, not the musician. And wow, looks like everyone's got that one. Did see this? I'm a Jay and Silent Bob guy. But yes. Oh, in fact, he was a carpenter, and the story goes, for those of you who've seen Witness, remember he builds this like really intense sort of like birdhouse, impressive toy for the kid. Apparently, he built that with his own 2 hands. It wasn't built by a prop dude, but yes, he was a professional carpenter. Moving forward. Oh, and let's says, yeah, Tom Selleck was almost Indiana Jones. Yes, he certainly was. Oh, Denny says E, all of the above. Yeah, I guess he did all kinds of other stuff as well. But so you know what? If you want to give yourself all of the above, that's fine. But what I was looking for was Carpenter. Oh, number 6. Hugh Jackman once taught what subject? Was it A, U.S. history, B, calculus, C, marine biology, or D, physical education? I shall repeat. Hugh Jackman once taught what subject? Was it A, U.S. history, B, calculus, C, marine biology, or D, physical education? And I don't want to be mean, but kind of obvious. Yes, phys ed. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. No, I'm sure Hugh Jackman is a very intelligent person, but for those of you who guessed phys ed, you guessed correctly. Teddy says sex ed too. Love it, love it. Okay, how about some scores? Keith is 3 out of 5. Tug is 3 out of 5. House of Alex, technically you're 1 out of 5 because we haven't given the other 10 questions. 5 questions, sorry. Gary Carpenter is B. Only 257 is 4 of 10. Teb is 3 of 5. And again, you're only your 4 of 5 because we haven't given the other questions yet. Wicked City is 2 of 5. Evan Blue is 3 of 5. Sean Ennis is 5 of 5. Crushing it. Lance Javen says, love Hugh in Van Helsing. Yes, but it was more like Captain Kronos. I wish they'd called it Captain Kronos. He's far more like Captain Kronos than Van Helsing in that movie. Gary Carpenter is 4 of 5. George Ears is 5 of 5. Excellent. Kevin Scott Smith is 3 out of 5. Gary Carpenter says to Lance, yes, he was. Zublix is 2 out of 4 because you don't answer the Jason Lee question. I didn't? Oh, I'm sorry. He was a professional skateboarder. So, everybody just, I thought I had said that whoever said whatever letter it was, I can't remember. C, I think it was. But I thought I said they gave the right answer. And that would have given the game away. But anyway, yes, he was a professional skateboarder. Sorry, parched. So I hope that brings you up to 3 out of 5. Watching Bean is 3 out of 5. Missed out on hearing the first question. I'm very sorry. See if you would have gotten it. It was, what long-term actor started out as a hairdresser? Ted Danson, Mel Gibson, Danny DeVito, or Patrick Stewart? You can use honor system for that one. Dominic D is a 4 out of 5. Excellent, Dominic D. I'm glad you're with us and playing. Tracy is hissed. Oh no, phys ed. Sorry. Lynn Steven says, and Kate Beckinsale too. Yes, please. Although I thought she was really cute in Pearl Harbor. The only really good part of that movie, to be honest with you. Gary Cameron says there was a prequel to that movie. Oh, and Pablo says Hugh Jackman was also good in The Greatest Showman. I thought Tracy is 3 out of 5. Duplix is 2 out of 5 then. And I think we're caught up with scores. Johnny says professional skateboarder, LOL, aka loser. Well, I'm not assigning value to these jobs, just what they did to earn a living. And I guess he made some pretty good money until he hurt his back. Anyway, I think I'm going to pick up with the game. Tug says Cuba Gooding Jr. was good. Think about Pearl Harbor as well. But yeah, it's not a movie with defending. Yeah, he played Dory Miller, who was amazing. Oh, but anyway, question 5. Steve Buscemi was in what community service field? Was he A, a fireman, B, with the Department of Water, C, animal rescue, or D, in the Board of Health? I shall repeat. Steve Buscemi was in what field of community service, or what community service field? A, a fireman, B, the Department of Water, C, animal rescue, or D, the Board of Health? Ooh, some people saying animal rescue. That would be the cute answer. But no, most of you actually have the right. He was a firefighter. In fact, really amazing anecdote. He was actually in New York City on 9/11, either because he was researching, getting ready to do a movie role, or just because he wanted to go to New York City. And when 9/11 hit, he ran up to one of the fire trucks and said, "Can I help?" And at first they thought, "No, you don't get it, dude. This isn't a movie." And he carried some type of fireman credentials. I don't know if they have like a badge or something, but he showed that he was a fully certified and qualified firefighter. And they let him jump on board, and he got his hands on some of the extra equipment, and was actually there in the initial first responders at 9/11. That's hardcore. Moving forward to number 4. What pop sensation was at one time an Army cadet? Was it A, Josh Groban, B, Taylor Swift, C, Rihanna, or D, Nick Jonas? I shall repeat. What pop sensation was at one time an Army cadet? Was it A, Josh Groban, B, Taylor Swift, C, Rihanna, or D, Nick Jonas? Wow! I thought this one was a real toughie, but some of you were, yeah, a lot of you are actually getting the right answer. Um, Josh Groban was a good guess. Yes, but no, a lot of you getting oh Dominic D. That's cheating. C or A. It's actually C. Rihanna was actually at one time an army cadet for the Barbados military. Um, but yeah, Josh Groban I thought would have been the more obvious answer, but that's why it was the trick. But Trey says don't know. Rihanna C is the correct answer. And speaking of military, question 3. Bob Ross was in what branch of the U.S. Armed Forces? A. Army, B. Navy, C. Air Force, D. Marines. I shall repeat. Bob Ross was in what branch of the U.S. Armed Forces? A. The Army, B. The Navy, C. The Air Force, or D. The Marines? Well, one of you've got it. Let's just see. I'll give a few more answers. Okay. All right. I mean, they're all good guesses, believe it or not. But actually, he was in the Air Force. I believe he was even an MP in the Air Force at one point. But so C, United States Air Force. Oh, number 2. Before becoming a professional writer, Stephen King was a bartender, B an English teacher, C a Sunday school teacher, or D a used car salesman. I shall repeat. Before becoming a professional writer, Stephen King was a bartender, a B an English teacher, a C a Sunday school teacher, or D a used car salesman. And wow, lots of you got this one. And yes, only actually typed it out. An English teacher. Wouldn't the Sunday school teacher have been a riot though? Or even the used car salesman bit? But no, yes, he was an English teacher. And the number one trivia question of the night is prior to his film and political career, Ronald Reagan was a prison guard, B a lifeguard, C a bodyguard, or D the right guard for the Fighting Irish football team at Notre Dame. I shall repeat. Prior to his career in film and politics, Ronald Reagan was a prison guard, B lifeguard, C bodyguard, or D right guard for the Fighting Irish football team at Notre Dame. Oh, Kevin Scott Smith says actor. No, prior to actor and president and governor of California, and there's some other stuff in there as well. I should have just said his first job. But anyway, many of you have gotten, most of you have gotten it actually. Um, B, he was a lifeguard. He was a lifeguard during the summer in his youth. In fact, when he was very old and the befuddledness had really settled in, he never wanted to talk about the political career. He never wanted to talk about his films. All he wanted to talk about was, well, when I was young, I was a lifeguard and I saved 77 people from drowning. Yeah, because he's credited, this is legit, credited with saving 77 drowning victims, some of whom may have saved themselves. I don't know, but he's credited with rescuing 77 people who were swimming in distress. And that, Daryl Johnson says the day after September 11 attacks in New York, he returned to his old firehouse to volunteer. He worked 12-hour shifts for a week and dug through rubble looking for missing firefighters. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Um, Oh yeah, let's get some scores. But before the Pod Bless says, anyone remember the movie Lifeguard from Paramount, 1976, starring Sam Elliott and Ann Archer? I'm sorry, I don't. Um, but yeah, let's get some scores. Gary Carpenter is 7 of 10. Uh, Emily Miller is Wadge DeVito, and a Wadge DeVito to you too. Um, Only 257 says, anybody remember the movie Top Secret? I love Top Secret. In fact, I was just talking with somebody about that. And you know what? They were talking about it on BK on the air. If you look closely in the underwater fight scene, apparently some of the tiles are getting ripped off because they were stuck in very loosely because the bottom of a pool. But yes, I do recall it. Very funny movie. I took a date that girl I was wicked crushing on when I was in high school. Totally friends on me. But very sweet girl. Shannon, this is 9 out of 10. Missed Bob Ross question. That one was tricky because it could have been any of them. Dominic D is 5 for 10. 257 says Cool Ponds. Cool Ponds sounds like a good place to go swimming. Uh, Les Javen says, with Val Kilmer. Yes, he was in that. That was one of his first big starring roles, if I remember correctly. Georgia Ayers is 9 out of 10. What you mean is 8 for 10. Lance James, Real Genius. That was another one of his. And 257 says Geek, one of the funniest movies ever made. I'm guessing Top Secret. Kevin Scott Smith says, I know a little German. He's sitting over there. That movie is so drenched with like those like funny little type of one-liners. It's like not even funny. It's hysterical. Um, really, let me know if his situation improves. He's dead. The Sergeant Pablo says The Doors. Oh, he was great in The Doors. That's right. He played Jim Morrison. Let's just see. Kevin I'm sorry, Keith E is 6 out of 10. Uh Blake says, yeah, we all know that scene. It took the mortician 2 days to get the smile off his face. Les James says, I like Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. I thought he stole the movie. I really did. In Tombstone. A lot of people didn't like Tombstone. I enjoyed it. I actually saw Tombstone when I was doing a movie review show. Shows you how far back it's going. But I really thought Val Kilmer, it's probably his best role, or arguably his best role. But I thought he stole the movie. Pablo says The Saint is a very great and underrated movie starring Val Kilmer. I haven't seen it, must confess. Tug says that's quite a sentence, Zuper. 257 says Pod Blast The Doors is a good movie. It certainly is. 257 says I'm singing the Holiday Road song in my head now. Gary Cover says I'm not a Doors fan. You either loved them or you hated them. I loved them, but a lot of people didn't. Dennis Keaton says wasn't Val? He was Batman. Oh wait, Val. He was Batman. Yes, he was. He did play Batman. Pablo says Tombstone was so fun. It certainly was. Shannon says, like Val Kilmer in Salton Sea with Skidard. Especially. Tug says he absolutely stole Tombstone, and I friggin' love it. Yes, I concur. And thank you for your concurring of my concur. Dominic D says, I like The Saint too. Anybody remember I Spy with Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson? I don't. It sounds like it would have been fun, but I don't recall watching it. Lynn says, Val was Iceman in Top Gun. He certainly was. So Book says, that's what you get for disguising yourself as a cow. I love that scene. I love that's like one of the funniest bits they did. Pablo says, then again, you may be the Antichrist, Val in Tombstone. Doug says, good one, Sean. I've never met anybody else who knows Salton Sea. I have not seen Salton Sea, so apologies. Daryl says Tombstone is a hell of a good film. And Lou says, I'm not either, Gary, but I do have people are strange on my playlist. Thanks. to the Umbrella Academy. People are strange when you're a stranger. Okay, let's just see. Texas, much of the love Kilmer. He was not a good Batman. A lot of people didn't like his performance in that. I think I may have lost a couple, but I'm going to try to keep up at this point. 2000 says Emily, they haven't done any spoof movies now. No, they kind of stopped them a while ago. Uh, Denny says Val's acting in Batman may have contributed to my first stroke. Ow, that's harsh. Emily was a Sky High. It was such a fun movie. Gary. Shannon says Tug. I don't like the Saint very smirking performance, in my opinion, but he was meant for the Doors, like RDJ was for Chaplin. The Salton Sea also has a good performance by Vincent D'Onofrio. Gary Cameron says Linda Carter was the principal. Lance James says I like Spy Kids. Only 2000 says Wedge Hot Shots is so funny. Oh yeah, Wedge, I mean, did mention Hot Shots. It's a very funny movie. Did you see? Zublik says the Salton Sea was great. Vincent D'Onofrio without a nose, really? Gary Cameron says, has anyone seen Rise of the Guardians? I have not, I'm afraid. Tug says, speaking of which, Kilmer and RDJ, they are great in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Oh, Dave's with us. Hey, Dave, how you doing, man? Sadly, we're probably getting ready to wrap up, but I'm very glad you could make it. You could watch the rest of the show and replay. But Dave says Ben Affleck was a bad choice to go back as Batman. Emily Miller says 257. The last spoof I saw was the Hollywood Show video spoofing Supernatural and Taylor Swift. Foremost Content says ever since Clash of the Titans, I expect Harry Hamlin to play Jim Morrison at some point. I could definitely see that. Skipping down. 2000 says Night of the Living Dead movie from 1968. That's one of my favorite movies of absolutely of all time. Not just my favorite horror movie or sci-fi movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Alex says, got to go, but this has been fun as always. See you guys soon. Definitely, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. 2007 says Fraggle Rock Slide. Gary Cameron says Harry Hamlin was great in Clash of the Titans. It's one of my favorite movies. We had a little tradition when I was a kid. I got to go on the last day of school. I could have whatever I want for dinner, and then I could go to see a movie with my friends. I had pizza and orange soda, and we got to see Clash of the Titans in seventh grade. That was my big seventh grade reprieve. Dave says, "How's your father Thrash?" I spoke to him yesterday. He's doing quite well. Thank you very much for asking. Ed Pablas also likes Clash of the Titans. And Dave's asking, "How's your Father's Day?" Oh, yes, everyone. How's everyone's Father's Day? I believe we covered a lot of that yesterday, but we can recover it today. Liz Jimmy says, "Bye, guys. See you next Sunday, Thrash. I will text you when it arrives. Thanks, bro. You're very, very welcome. Have a great night." And let me know tomorrow when you get the package. He says, Dave's new posting is a must see. You have to see. It's a must see, must see. It certainly is. It was very good. I had to watch it in replay. I was having Father's Day dinner with Mrs. Thrash. But thank you. Oh, by the way, my mother loves Mama Thrash, by the way. So feel free to call my mother Mama Thrash. She thought it was outstanding. A lot of people saying goodnight to Lance. Emily's asking everybody to hit that like button before we go. And Gary says, "Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are." I love that. I absolutely Jimmy Durante, that was his sign off for Agent Sean. And it says, "Good time with my son yesterday." I'm glad you had a good time with your son yesterday. Danny says, "I watched some old black and white movie about fire demon Sunday morning on Goof Ghoulie. Sounds so much fun." Gary Cameron says, "Good night, don't let the bed bugs bite." Shonda says, LOL. Hello, Mama Thrash. And Dave says, "Good morning, Vietnam." Another great movie. Oh, we never did get around I tell everybody what my first job was. I think. Well, if I haven't, I will now because we have a few minutes before we wrap things up. My first job was bagging groceries in a supermarket. It was this little supermarket chain in the Northeast. I think they had like 20 some odd stores, and it was Angelo's Supermarket. This is back when they bagged groceries up for people and brought them to their car. That was my job, and I eventually worked myself into the deli and actually had other jobs. But yeah, that was my first job, bagging groceries and bringing them to people's car, and hopefully getting a tip, even though we weren't supposed to get tipped. And I loved it actually, and I loved the chain. And it was bought up by another chain, and I didn't like it so much. But that was my first job. My worst job was delivering home health care equipment to terminally ill people. That was actually a very sad job. You'd have to set it up. All these people very in distress were there waiting for you to set up their bed or whatever. And then oftentimes you get a call the next day, Bob, we need you to go to the Lobermans to pick up the bed. And I'd be like, pick up the bed at the Lobermans? I just dropped it off yesterday. Why would I? Oh, yeah, that was a very sad and somber job. I mean, it was fulfilling. I mean, you're taking care of people in distress, but it wore on you. So yeah, sadly, that was not a particularly fun job. So I have fulfilled my end of the bargain. I've given you guys mine. I'm glad I got a lot of yours, but I figured I could at least mention mine. And on that note, I just want to say to all you guys, thank you so much for being here. I know this was all kind of impromptu. Oh, Tab is 4 for 10. Missed the other questions. You know what, Tab? Watch them and rewatch and use the honor system. Tell me how many you would have gotten had you actually heard them. And oh, Dave says I was Paperboy of the Year. That's very impressive. Did you get your $2? I want $2. $2. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for joining me on this virtually impromptu live chat, which almost didn't happen because of technical problems. Hopefully, I finally cleared out whatever that Microsoft thing was. And if I don't, I will. Be good, be safe, be careful. I might post. I won't be able to post anything content possibly until this coming Friday. Remember, I still got classes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. But that being said, I'm going to try to get some like a content, like a sci-fi post or a creepy classic or a dad joke thing before the weekend. But other than that, I will definitely have a post next Sunday night, live chat next Sunday night, and hopefully Ian will be free to do a Monday night live chat. If not, I will keep the home fires burning with another live chat on Monday. And I think I've covered everything. Oh, David says, love, friends, peace. Thank you so much. A lot of people saying good night. Thank you for saying have a great live stream. Fun chat. Thank you. You guys are absolutely great. A lot of people saying $2. Um, and again, you guys make these chats. Basically, all I do is I read the comments and get a kick out of them. You guys are the ones that drive this show. Remember, last night, 1,200 1,200, 23 people, and you guys managed to leave 1,200 comments. That's impressive. And again, apologies if I miss the occasional chat you make. It's never intentional. Sometimes I have to scroll down and I miss a couple. Sometimes I think they're fellowship comments where you guys are just saying hi to each other or responding to something that somebody else has said and not directed towards me. And if I miss them, feel free to say them again. But anyway, again, be good, be safe, be careful. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.